Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. Thank you very much for agreeing to participate in this study. I really appreciate your time. My name is Tuyet, and today I will be conducting this interview about teacher use of storytelling to teach vocabulary to young learners in Vietnamese English Center. So the interview will last about 30 to 40 minutes. I will ask you about how you implement storytelling in your vocabulary lessons and how like your perception of the benefits and challenges of using this approach.
Yes.
So I've already sent you the consent form, so you got the title of the interview, right?
Yes. Yes. I've
Yeah.
got that.
Okay, so before we begin, I would like to remind you of a few important points. The interview will be audio recorded for later analysis for this research. All the information you provide will be kept confidential and used only for this study. So your name will be replaced with a pseudonym to protect your identity. During the interview, you have the right to stop or skip any questions if you feel uncomfortable answering them. So, if you wish to withdraw from the study, you may do so uh, without any penalty. So, the interview will stop immediately if you don't like it. Uh, do you agree to participate under these conditions?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you very much for agreeing. So we can begin the interview now.
Yes, I'm ready.
So first of all, I would like to ask about your background. So could you please tell me about your experience in English teaching to young learners?
So, thank you. I've been teaching English to young learners for about 10 years, and I've been working at this language center around 3 years.
Yes,
So, most of my students are between 5 and 10 years old, and their level ranging from beginner to lower intermediate level.
oh, I see. So, like, what kinds of story do you usually use in your English class?
In my English classes, I usually use printed picture book, a big book, and also animated digital stories. Sometimes I also adapt short stories that I create myself, but very little.
Oh,
But if only when they match the lesson objectives better to make it better.
yeah, I see. So you said that you use an animated the storybook, or is it animated story digital, or is it like what
It's a
kind of?
digital
Is it
story.
a digital? Yeah. So um, so you said that like you also created some story by yourself.
Yes. Some
So how about the other stories?
the
Like,
other stories, my center provide them all the yeah, they also provide the curriculum, the stories, and
yeah.
all books and every materials.
And you can have the right to adapt if you
Yes,
feel.
right to yes.
I see. Thank you very much. So now we move to the part where I want to ask you about how you implement storytelling to teach vocabulary in your class. So first of all, when you use the storytelling to teach vocabulary, how do you usually choose to to the story and the target was to teach?
So the first thing I consider is whether the story matches my students' age, their
Yes.
age level, and also their interest, which is the I think this is the most important part. And young learners usually respond better to stories with colorful illustration,
Mm-hmm.
colorful pictures and photo, simple plots in the story,
Yes.
also the humor in the story or some familiar topics. For example, if that lesson I teach them vocabulary about animals or food,
Yes.
so choose the story that align with the vocabulary they learn on that day.
Yes. How about the target words? How do you select from the story to
Target
teach?
words, the
Yeah, the
vocabulary.
target. Yes.
Yes, it's just I would choose the vocabulary that is quite simple and is suitable with their English level. And most of the time I use the center provided material to teach.
Mhm.
So I sometimes simplify certain sentences, or sometimes I add extra pictures and gesture to make the story easier for beginners to understand.
Why do you do so?
Because when I teach young learner,
Yes.
they have limited range of vocabulary,
Yeah.
so I cannot just talk to them or just say the word or try to explain by other more words. I have to
Yeah.
use gesture, my facial expression, and most importantly the picture to to
Mm.
describe the story. Yeah.
Yeah. So it needs to be illustrative, right?
Yes.
So, like after choosing a story, what do you usually plan to do with the story to teach vocabulary? I mean, like, do you usually to teach it in only one single lessons or maybe over several lessons?
For younger learner, like for lower level, I usually teach one story, the same story in about 10 to 15 lessons. Like I just
Mm,
repeat them again and again,
yes,
to let them listen to the story. For the few first time, they would just have, like, they will be familiar with the story, with the plots and the pictures
yeah,
and everything. And then the other lessons, after that, I will introduce one by one the vocabulary. For example, this lesson I will introduce them one new word, and
yeah,
the next lesson I will introduce the other two or three new words. So they
yeah,
will absorb all the language of the story. Uh,
yes. Yeah, yeah. So you said that because they are lower level, so you're gonna repeat the story like, for example, you said like 15 lessons for one story,
50
right?
lessons, yes, from
Mm, I see. And I want to ask about like before telling the story, what kind of activity do you usually to do to introduce the key vocabulary and prepare students for the story?
before reading, I usually activate students' background knowledge through
Mhm.
the pictures, the flashcards, or some guessing games or simple questions that relate to the story. Um, at this stage, I mainly focus on pronunciation or basic meaning of the word, or and help, most importantly, help students to recognize the word, to make the word more familiar with them. I don't explain every detail of the story because I want students to discover the meaning naturally while listening to the story or when they look at the photos and the pictures in the story. Yes, so yeah, I often use, as I say, pictures, gesture, expression, and realias, and sometimes actions instead of just
Action.
direct translation.
Yeah, so can you give me one example that you teach the vocabulary before telling the story?
So let me think. So the other day when I teach my student the story, um, too much green, no, too much pink. So that story teach student the color pink, and
Yeah,
talk about a woman who
yeah,
obsessed or really like color
yeah,
pink. She makes everything in her house pink. So I just choose the first word that is the most important word of the story is pink to explain to
yeah,
the student. Which I show the student the picture of the color pink. It's very
yeah.
easy for young learner to recognize it. And then I choose one object in the girl's house and
Yeah.
teach students mostly by the picture. When
Yes.
students look at the picture, they can remember really, really fast.
Oh, I see. So mostly you use a picture to show, like visualize. I think it's very good way. Do you use Vietnamese to translate in case students don't understand the new words?
Um, I I really like I rarely use Vietnamese. I can say that I never use Vietnamese in my English
Mhm.
classes, especially for young learners and beginners. Because I believe that when we teach a beginner
Yes.
by 100% English, they will absorb the language naturally, like our mother tongue. So
Mm.
I don't use Vietnamese in my classes. Even my teacher, my TA, she never uses Vietnamese in my class. We try to explain the word. If there is new words, we try to explain it in a simple way in English by
I see.
actions and everything, as I
I
said
see.
before.
Yeah, yeah, I see. And let's come like during telling the story, like how do like how do you do to help students understand the target words without the breaking the flow of the story? Like,
Um,
do you usually tell the story once or many times in a class?
I usually tell the story more than once. As I said, for a young learner, I tell the same story for 15 lessons, but not
Mm,
continuously. Just for example, if the course lasts 30 lessons, I will teach.
mm,
I will choose that story to teach sometime in 15 lessons during the courses. But in one lesson, I only tell it once.
oh, I see.
So the first time students simply listen and just enjoy the story, enjoy the photos they see in the story. So
Yes.
I use facial expression, gesture, voice changes, my voice,
Yeah.
and pictures and body language to help them refer the
Mm,
meanings naturally. Maybe the first time they cannot understand the story 100%, but
mhm.
they have the idea about the story. And then after that, in the other lesson, um but I maybe sometimes I pause at key vocabulary. If they need me to explain it, I will
Mhm.
explain it very shortly
Mm.
to let them understand the story, the flow of the story. But I rarely stop when I tell the story. I just tell it from the first to the last, and then after that,
Mm.
I will let them do some task or play some games that relate to the vocabulary of the story.
So, like you said, like you rarely stop for the first time. Why do you rarely stop for the first time of listening to the
Um,
story?
just because in the first time I want my student, I'm sorry, want my student to just simply listen to the story
Mhm.
and understand the main content of the story. For
Oh, I
example,
see.
just if that story is of a pink color, I want them to understand the word pink first and the character in the story that love pink. That's what I want
Mm.
for the first time,
Mhm.
young learner at basic level.
So, have you ever have you ever encounter the situation when a student asks you a new word, like unexpected new word in during you telling the story?
Um, yeah, maybe I am too strict because when I read the story, if one student just uh, keep stopping me to ask the new word, I can't do that because it will affect the flow of the story of other
Yeah.
students. Yes, it affect the like the effective when the student they are listening. They try to listen to
Mm.
yes to the new words, the vocab, the pronunciation of the words. If I just stop and and explain something to them, then I don't think that makes sense because they are listening a story. So we just try to look at the picture and guess the content of of the story. And then if you want to know new words, I will explain to you later.
Oh, I see. So you will wait to the end of the story and explain it later.
Yes, but most of the time I will try to teach the student new words, if there are some in the story first before I read the story.
Oh,
They
I
will
see.
the vocab first. Yeah.
I see. So can you describe a situation, like specific example of how you help students understand a target word, like a specific target word while telling a story without breaking the flow?
Uh, I'll I will point at the photo of the picture in the big book. They have the picture. So if maybe if they ask about a noun, I will point at that thing on the picture, so
Mm,
they will understand immediately.
yeah, so I
I just,
see.
I just shortly state one word, one simple word that has the same meaning with that word. Then they will understand. Luckily, my students,
Oh,
they really like that. They are familiar with what with my style of teaching, so they
yeah.
don't interrupt too much when I read.
Yeah, I see. So how do you involve students during the story to help them to learn the target word? Like, how do you help students to engage during the story?
So before we tell the story, I teach the vocab, right? So when
Mhm.
I tell the story, if they meet that vocab again, I will I will read that vocab louder, read that word louder, or I would use my facial expression to show student that, hey, this is this word you just learned before, right? Yeah, so they
Mhm.
will recognize that word in the story, so they focus more in the story. And yeah, that's one thing I can recall right now.
Yeah, yeah. So like, like during you reading the story, telling the story, the student just listen, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they just
So
sometimes for a couple of times later when they know the story already, they will
yeah.
read it with me.
Oh, they will read with you. So,
I encourage them to read with me.
yeah. Anything else like you encourage them to do with you during the story, during you telling the story for the later listening?
Um, after listen, you mean after listen? Oh,
I
sorry,
mean,
after
like
the
for
story.
some, like not the first listening. You said that for the first listening, they just listen, but like for the other lessons or maybe yeah, for the later classes.
Yes, sometime in the story there are some questions that student can answer immediately by looking at the picture. For example, there is a story when they look at the lions, a family of lions.
Yes.
The story say, I see, there is a father lion, there is a mother lion. Do you see the baby lion? And
Mhm.
then nothing else. So when students hear that question, they will immediately answer that question in the story.
Mhm.
They point at that baby lion, or they say in the bush or something like that. So
Oh.
during telling the story, I will encourage students to read with me, or to show their feelings, show their what they think. If they listen, if with that line, or they can answer a question of the that appear in the story. If they can, like,
Oh.
I want to activate every English language in their mind, that
I
during
see.
I read. They can do anything but English. They have to speak English.
I see. Yeah, that's very interesting case. So after you finish the story, like what kind of the follow-up activities do you usually use to help them to practice the new words?
So after reading, I usually organize vocabulary games or role plays, if possible, or story sequencing, or retelling activities for younger learner. I want them to retell the story in groups, or one student can come up to tell the story to the whole class,
Mhm.
or doing the worksheet, doing some tasks that relate to the story. For older learners or higher level, I will let them. I prepare for them some books so they can bring home. They can read it,
Mm.
and then they can go to class the other day, and then I will let them present the story to the whole class. Yes, there are
Oh.
various activities I can let the
Is it a
student.
new story? Is it a new storybook or is it the same one as in the class? Or
Um,
you will get the student to bring back home?
the same, because I want them to read that story, learn about that, and
Mm.
then present what vocabulary you learn from that story. What is the most favorite thing you learn from the story, and what is the least favorite thing? Do you think?
Oh, I see.
What
So,
character? What characters do you like from the story, and what do you learn after reading the story? So I want them to follow that structure to present about that book or present about that story for the
so
whole
you
class.
said, I see. So you said that it is for like presentation of the book is for the older learner. So
For
like older learner, like how old are they?
that class, they are from 7 to 8 years old, and they finishes the starter level of Cambridge. They are learning
Oh.
at mover level, so they can do that.
Do you see the effectiveness of presentation when you give them this duty, this
Of
group
course, it's
work?
very effective. I really like that for higher level students, because they love the books. I'm
Mm,
happy that they love my books. Every
mm,
time I bring my books to the class, they really love it, and because the book has so many like photos and colorful pictures, they really like it, and the language, the knowledge they can learn about. Second, I think that presentation can help them become more confident in front of people. They are confident to stand there and talk about what they learned, what they read before, and also it is a good way to learn the new vocabulary,
mm,
because just a random book is not a short story from a curriculum, like Red Seed or something. No, that is a real book. That is a real story out there, and they take that book and read. So they obviously they will see so many new words. And my student, they have like a habit to search a new word on the dictionary. I guide them to how to search new words from
oh,
Oxford dictionary. So they do that. And I said that you should learn vocabulary by the English meaning. Don't just
mm,
translate into Vietnamese. Just read the definition in English. So you will learn more new words. So my student
mm.
does that. So I think it's very effective for them to learn more and more new words every day.
Yeah. So do you need to provide them the vocabulary to help them to speak?
Before, yeah, the first time when I give them the book, yes, I may ask them to just have a look at the book and ask me if immediately if there are some new words that you really need to know right now. I will try to explain to them. But if they bring that book home and they don't know some words, they can try to look up for it by themselves.
That's
But
very
before,
interesting.
I mean, when I give them the book, I don't need an activity to like teach them the vocabulary or something. I just introduce, just say
Mm,
that, explain that, and then they can do it by themselves at home. No games or
okay.
no presentation to introduce the words.
Yeah, so you mean like at home they already got another book of the story so they can read it and they can present it later.
Yes.
Yeah, I see. So at home, so do they read it by themselves or their parent will read it for them?
Some
Really?
students that have parents who know English,
Yeah.
so they can have yeah, the support from their parents. But yes, they have support from their parents. And I
Yeah.
said that if your parents don't know English, or if you really need somebody to like read with you, so they can contact me.
I see. So like how do you usually check whether students have understood and remember the target words?
Uh,
Like, yeah, what
uh,
method?
like in general, in every classes, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I rarely rely on formal vocabulary tests alone. I don't do that. Yeah, I I think I don't do that. I don't like,
Mhm.
and I don't like it as well, the formal vocabulary test. I observe students during
Mhm.
classroom activities when they can use the vocabulary naturally. Where
Yeah.
when sometimes my students tell me a story about their day, they use that vocabulary. That is my success. Succeed when I teach student new vocab because they can use that. Or sometimes I ask comprehension questions after tell them the story,
Mm.
and or I listen to their retelling. If they can retell the story, then they understand that. Yeah.
I
So
see.
and
So,
I also pay attention to to whether they can use the target vocabulary correctly when they speak, when they talk to me.
oh, okay. So that when they talk to you, they're gonna use that vocabulary in the story as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great. So how do you usually recycle the target words in the next lessons? As you said, like the story will be repeated like across for many lessons. So how do you recycle it? Like do you teach again the vocabulary or how do you do?
To recycle vocabulary, I don't teach again. I
Mm,
review important words just through warm-up games or
mm,
classroom routines. For example, if the previous lesson I teach them vocabulary about weather, then
yes.
the next day I will ask in the first minute when I see them, I will ask how's the weather today. So
Mm,
or I will check if they can remember the word, and if they don't remember, I will say it again. So that's the one more time where they can review the word. And yeah, I also include previously learned vocabulary in speaking activities and homework, so students encounter the words repeatedly in different contexts.
oh, I see. So why do you do so? Not repeated or pre-teaching like in the first the very first lessons.
um I think that if I just repeat to say it and say it again, they just remember the word, and
Mm,
but they cannot use it, actually use it. Uh,
mm,
I mean, to memorize naturally. So
mm.
I think I shouldn't just use one um, way to introduce the word. It's suitable for the first time to
Mm,
introduce the new word, but after that, I should do other activities. They are also kids. They love new things. So they love
mm,
games. They love worksheets that have many like colorful pictures in that. When they love something, they can learn it more effective. I think so. So yeah, I use several ways to like
yeah,
recall the words.
yeah, I see. So like I want to next I want to ask you more about like your experience and your perception of
Yes.
using storytelling to teach vocabulary. So from your experience, what do you see as the main benefits of using storytelling to teach vocabulary to young learners?
So I think one of the biggest benefits is that students learn vocabulary in meaningful context instead of
Mm,
memorizing isolated words, as traditional ways that I have chances to learn. They understand not only the meaning of the word, but also
mhm,
when and how to use it as well.
mm,
And was storytelling also increases students' attention because children naturally enjoy listening to stories. As my kid, she's only 3 years old, but she loves stories. She loves to say that mommy, just tell me the story all the time, all day. So I think children really enjoy listening to stories. So compared to simply using flashcards or word lists, which is very boring
mhm,
for young learner. I think storytelling keeps them engaged for a much longer time in during the class. And I think another advantage is the long-term retention. Since vocabulary appears repeatedly throughout the
mm,
story, so students tend to remember it better. And well, I remember teaching this word whisper instead
mm,
of just giving a direct explanation to them. This is very hard to explain the word whisper in words for young
Yes.
learners. So that character in the story whispered several times during the story, and I modeled the action with my voice. Even a few weeks later, many students could like still remember both the word and how to use it appropriately. They can understand the meaning of the word and my action. They remember my action and remember
Mhm.
the character in the story as well. So
Oh, that's nice. You said that the students seem to enjoy and engage in storytelling to learn vocab rather than the like the traditional way that you learn. So why do you think so? Why do you think they enjoy and engage better than the traditional way?
no, I think that children love to learn new thing. They love to watch a story, watch the plot in the story. They are curious. What is
Mm,
next? What is next in the story?
uh,
That girl go to the jungle, and then what happened next? They are so curious. So
mm,
and they love photos. They love pictures. The story has
mm.
many colorful, beautiful pictures. So they really enjoy looking at the photo. Even the lower level students, they love it because if they don't understand something, they still can look at the pictures to follow the the flow of the story as well. So
I
I think
see. Yeah.
yeah.
So, like looking back on your experience, what challenges have you experienced when using storytelling to teach vocabulary to young learner? The
Uh,
difficulties.
yes, there are some, but one challenge is that preparing storytelling lesson can be quite time consuming. Sometimes I need to like prepare extra pictures, or sometimes I need to adjust some story if I really love this story, I think that this story is suitable to this class, but their level cannot understand that story much because of the vocabulary in the story is too hard. I have to change the vocabulary into easier one, or yeah, to or maybe I have to add more pictures in the photo to help them understand more clearly and stay more engaging. That one challenge, and I
Mm.
think another challenge here is that um, sometimes I need to explain the abstract vocabulary. Some
Mm.
cannot easily be demonstrated with pictures or actions, or so students may still struggle to understand them. I want to recall a word right now, but I cannot remember anything. But some words are very abstract that I cannot just use action or word to
Mm.
explain it. So yeah, in that case, if I don't have any other ways to explain it, I have to explain it in Vietnamese, just one word in Vietnamese, and then switch back to English.
Oh, I
Yes,
see.
yes,
So,
and
any other challenges?
yes, still we talk too much in challenging. Yes, they have so many challenge. But one more challenge is that during the time I tell them the story, I have to keep them all. I should keep them all attend to what I am
Mhm.
telling them. Some students become distracted if the story is too long,
Yeah.
or they meet some words that they don't know, and then they are not interested to the story anymore. Yeah, and that time I need my TA to tell them just sit nicely and be patient. Maybe they
Mm.
can understand the next part of the story. Maybe
I
that's what.
see. So, have you ever got like, as you said, like sometimes managing student during the storytelling can be the problem to teach the storytelling to teach the vocabulary. So, like, have you ever got some kind of like uh, classes that didn't go as planned? And can you
Yes,
give me one
yes, a lot.
example, please?
Yes. Yes, one time when I teach story, I tell the story what that story is quite long, and
Yes.
and there are only 15 minutes left, but that story is about three minutes or 5 minutes. I planned that after that story I will let them play a game to understand more about the vocabulary in the story. But then
Yeah.
during the time when I tell them the story, three students. They were naughty and they were in a lower level of in that class. So
Yeah.
they got distracted during the time I tell them the story, and they try to like get other student attention to them. They talk and just not focus in my lesson. So I cannot just stop there. And I twice I stopped twice and tell them just to stay there and be quiet. I didn't have TA that day as well. So
Oh, I
that's
see.
really, yeah, it's very difficult for me to control the whole class for that. So after some couple times I stopped. I running out of time because it took me a lot of time to just like to stop and then tell them to be quiet. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm so emotional, so I was really angry at that time. And then
Yeah.
yeah, I stopped the story right away to let them just sit there, and I stopped telling them the story.
Yeah, yeah, I see. So how did you deal with that situation after that, like for other lessons?
um yes, for yeah, I see that problem sometimes. And I always tell my center that I really need TA
Yeah,
for the lessons that have story, especially longer story. So the
yeah.
TA help me a lot in uh, stable the class and control the students when they got distracted by story.
Yeah. So like you said that you got some problem. I mean, like it takes you a lot of time and effort to adapt the story that you like to teach student. So like how did you deal with the problem? You still feel it's a little bit exhausted to use storytelling, the adapted storytelling.
When I have that problem, I still spend more time on planning that. So that yeah, I'm really struggling with like planning the lesson, because I always want my lesson to be, perfect, which I cannot sometimes. Um, because I think that the most important thing in my class is that I get my student interested in my lesson, interested in the story. So I have to make it um, as like the best as I can. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's still
You are
my problem.
very enthusiastic. So, any other techniques or tools that can really help you to overcome that problem?
Yes, sometimes I use AI to like let the app read the story with me, and then replace some higher level vocabulary into some
Mm-hmm.
basic words. Yes, I use AI sometimes. And I all nearly I use AI to generate some pictures, some simple
Mm.
pictures. Yeah, about the
Oh,
story I want to adapt to the story. So yeah, that is very effective.
oh, that's very good. I think like what kinds of like support um from the center can make it easier for you to use storytelling to teach vocabulary.
I'm sorry. So yes, the center they provide a lot of help of support in like all the time when I have problem with managing the class. They
Yeah,
can, yeah, they help me to talk to the student as well. And yes, all of the time when I feel stress with managing the class, or stress with planning the lesson, I will talk to them, and they
yeah,
understand. They listen to me and they understand me. And sometimes they also tell me that, ask me that, do I need TA to help me plan the lesson? But I think it's unnecessary, because I think that teachers should be the one who plan the lesson,
mhm,
so they will know what we teach in the class, not just the TA. The TA will only help me to like make some print our worksheet, or the photocopy or something like that.
So, do you need any extra support from your center apart from them
Mm,
to
let's
make it
see.
easier for you? Yes.
Yes, I cannot think about anything right now about because I'm still handling my class really well. So at this time I don't think that I need any support from my center.
Yes, that's very good of you. So I think it's coming to the end of the interview. So before we finish, is there anything else about using storytelling to teach vocabulary that you want to add on?
Um, well, yeah, that's all what I want to say.
Thank you very much. So, if you have any information or something to add on the interview, so you can email me, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.